Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we have discussed about selection structures and boolean expressions. Firstly, we can discuss about these two topics in Python. What is Python? Python is the high-level programming language. It supports multiple programming, easy readable language, and it uses English keywords that is so important for a statement that it uses English keyword while other programming language just like C++ and Java uses punctuation, and it does not have any curly brackets. Okay. In Python we cannot use semicolon, we can use colon, we cannot use bracket, we cannot write conditions with under bracket. So that was an easy language but a case sensitive language. So firstly, what is selection structure? Selection structure are used to make decisions that allow us to control the path of execution. What decisions are used? What decisions just like when you go home from the school. When you go home from the school, you have choice to do your homework if you have it, but if you don't have it, you can watch TV or we can watch movies, etc. So you can watch TV, etc. So that way you can make decisions like that, and you can teach computer, and you can teach also computer to make decision, and decision depends on various conditions, that etc. That many decisions are based on many various conditions. So choosing between two or more alternative paths means we have more than one choices that we can select. That was called decisions. And in Python, decisions are made in if statements. Okay, here is a type of selection structures. What is the type of selection structures? If statement, if else statement, if else statement. Today we have only discussed about if statement and if else statement, not if else statement, but I can teach you that that if else statements are used in Python. In C++ we can we call this if else statements is if else if. Okay, if else if. We can call this if else if in C++, but in Python we can call if else. So firstly we can talk about if statement. What is the if statement? In Python, decisions are made with the if statements. Okay. When processing an if statement, the computer first evaluates some condition. If it is met, the specified action is performed. What does it means? If the condition is true, means if the expression is true, the statement is executed. But if the condition is not true, means if the expression is false, then the program jumps to the next statement after the intended block. Okay, means the execution is not performed if the condition is false. Okay, what is the syntax of if statements? Here you can see there is no bracket and there is no semicolon. We can use colon instead of semicolon in Python. We cannot use brackets. So that was very easy syntax of if statements and very short syntax. That if condition colon if body, and we cannot write conditions in brackets, in round brackets. Okay. Flow chart of if statements. No, firstly, if the condition, we can write conditions, and if the condition is true, the program executed. But if the condition is false, the program cannot execute it. The program executed, but cannot fulfill the conditions. Means the condition is not true. Okay, what is an example of if statement? Here is an example of if statements. If age is less than 18, colon, print cannot vote. If your age is less than 18, that was the condition, that age is less than 18. So what is your body of if? That print cannot vote. The person cannot vote if her or his age is under 18. So we can write this example in Python just like that. Here I can write this example there. We can now firstly we can initialize that what is our age. Then if age condition, age is less than 18, then print cannot vote. Here, okay, so there here we can see that condition is not met with the initialization of age, so print cannot vote. We can come back to our slides. Okay, the flow chart of this example is that if age is less than 18 and if the condition is true, print cannot vote. But if the condition is not true, we can move on our program. We can move to next statements. Okay, we can talk about if statements. Now we can talk about else statements. What is else statement? Else is an optional part, means if the condition, we can write condition, and if the condition is true, we can write the statements written in if body. But if the condition is not true, we can print, the program prints the output of the condition, the output of the program is else body. So their else statement is an optional part of if statement. It else statement allow us to specify an alternative instructions to be executed if the condition is not met. We have an optional part, means we have else statements other than if we have a condition is if we have a condition if age is less than 18. Okay, if age is less than 18, in if body we can write the print cannot vote, but in else we can write print can vote. So and here we initialize our age is 52. So obviously that our program, that our output is can vote, because the condition is not met with the if statements. So here is an syntax of else statements. If condition colon if body, else colon else body. We cannot write condition in else because there is only one condition which have true or false. Okay, example. Okay, not for firstly we can watch the flow chart of else statements. What is an else flow chart? Flow chart clearly says that if test expressions is true, we can print body of if, but if the test expression is false, the body of else is print. Here is an example. If x is equals to 0, so in if body x plus is equals to 1, and if the condition is not true, means if the x is not equals to 0, then else x minus is equals to 0. Here is the flow chart of example. Here is the flow chart of example of else statement. Is x is equals to 0? If the x is equals to 0, then if this condition is true, then add 1 to x. But if the condition is not true, then subtract 1 from x. We can subtract 1 from the x. Just like as you can see in flow chart, the instructions in the if body are only executed if the condition is true. But if the condition is not true, we can move on to else body. But in if statements, if the condition is true, we can print the body of if statement, and if the condition is not true, we can if the condition is not true, the instructions with if body are skipped. So because we have not an else statements in if statement. So but in else statement we have an optional part. We have an else statements. We have some other instructions other than if statements. So the other instructions, if the condition is not met with the or with our initializations, so we can write this. Okay, we can talk about selection structure. Now we can talk about boolean expressions. What is boolean expressions? A boolean expression is an expression that evaluates the boolean value. Okay, what is boolean expressions? Boolean expression is just like greater than, is equals to, less than, not equals to. That type is called boolean expression. And boolean values, we have two boolean values, true or false. We can that I have written is true or false in inverted commas. That was a prominent one. So these are boolean values. And capitalization is important such that true or false are not boolean. If we write true, if we write the t of true in small letter, then it was not a boolean value. And if we can write f of false in small value, small, so that was not boolean. We have only two values, two boolean values, that was written capital T R U E, capital F A L S E, true or false. And remember that boolean values are not strings. And we can, if we write a program related to boolean expressions, we can write the data type of this program is bool. Okay, we can write the bool data type, such like if we and there is many data types, such like character, integer, float type integer, double integer. So in boolean expressions we can type we have data type bool. We can write the bool in data type. So that's it. Next one, example of boolean expressions. Okay, here we can remember that boolean expressions are not strings. Okay, so print type in bracket true, we can write bracket in true, and print type we can write bracket true in inverted commas. That was not correct. That was correct, but that was not a boolean expression. Boolean expressions was not written in inverted commas, because in inverted commas we can only write strings, and strings are not boolean. Okay, and in next, print 5 is equals to 5. That is true. Print 5 is equals to 6. That was false. But why? Because 5 is equals to 5. 5 is not equals to 6. That was an obvious thing. Okay, some of boolean expressions. We have some boolean expressions. These are there, and here is some boolean expressions. Okay, we can also call boolean expressions a comparison expression, because we can compare some things. We can compare something, it's just like we can compare x and y. We can compare a, b, compare b, c, whatever it is, but we can compare something. So x is not equals to y. We can compare something, and in previous slides we can write 5 is equals to 5. We can compare these two 5, and these two 5 are equal, and we can and next we can compare these two means, and these two means if we can say 5 is equals to a and 6 is equals to b, we can compare a and b. We can compare that if they are equal or not, but they are not equal. Okay, there are some boolean expressions that was x not equals to y, x greater than y, x less than y, x greater than or equals to y, x less than or equals to y. That was some boolean expressions that we can use in our program, that we can use in our coding. Okay, what is compound boolean expressions? In boolean expressions we can also type that compound boolean expressions. And what is compound boolean expressions? When you combine two or more boolean expressions. Okay, sorry, in previous one I can also explain that although these operations are probably familiar to you, that was equal, equals to, greater, less than, the Python are different from the mathematical symbols. There was a important thing that I skipped, so sorry for that, but Python are different from the mathematical symbols. A common error is to use a single equals to equal sign instead of double equals sign. In Python we can write double equal sign. If we write the single equal sign, that was correct, that was not legal, that was we can say that was we can the program gives an error if we can use single equals to sign. So we can so we must written double equals sign. That was important thing, so sorry for skipped it. So next slides, there are three logical when you combine two or more boolean expressions, we can study what is boolean expressions, and if we combine two or more boolean expressions, then this is then the result is true or false. So that was called compound boolean expressions. And there are three logical operators. Okay, there are three logical operators. Two are used to create compound boolean expressions. Two are compound boolean expression. Okay, next one, what is logical operator? If we read it, then there are three logical operators. Two are used to create compound boolean expression, and we can study about compound boolean expressions. So what are logical operators who are used to create compound boolean expressions? So we can know about logical operator. So here is the first logical operator is AND. AND results in true when both parts are true. When our A and B are true, both are true, then the results are true, otherwise false. So if the A is true, B is true, then A and B are true. But if the A is true, B is false, then A and B are false. And if the A is false, B is true, then A and B are false. If the A is false and B is false, then A and B are false. In this means there must be both of them are true. And the next one, or operator results in true when one or more parts are true, and otherwise it's false. Means one of its part must be true. So if A is true, B is true, then A or B is true. If A is true, B is false, then A or B are true. If A is false and B are true, then A or B are true. If A is false, B is false, then A or B are false. Means one of them must be true. What are logical operators? Not inverter. Not operator inverts the value. Flips the value, means if the A is true, then the inverter is false. If the A is false, then an inverter is true. So here is an example of compound Boolean expression, that we can combine two Boolean expressions with the logical operator. When we combine two Boolean expressions with the logical operator, then we can call it compound Boolean expression. So x is less than or equals to y and x is less than or equals to z. That was a compound Boolean expression. Because and is a logical operator and the greater is equals to a compound Boolean expression. So this whole is compound Boolean expression. The next one is not x equals to y. If so here is not is a logical operator and equals to Boolean expression. Remember, then we can write equals to sign, double equals to sign in Python, because the Python is a very case sensitive program, so be careful about it. If we can write here just like we can write 1 equals to sign, means not x equals to y. So here the program gives an error, because we can use double equals to sign, not 1 equals to sign. So because Python is a very case sensitive program, so we can write note or minor mistakes can lead to our program in error. So I note down that and has a higher precedence than not, so it is executed first. If we can write a program, and in program we can use and also an or operator. So we can first we can solve and, because and has a higher precedence. So we can execute, computer itself execute and operator first, because and operator is a higher precedence than or operator. So here is the end of my video. So I hope you can clearly understand what I'm conveying you about selection structure. In selection structure we can talk about if statement, we can talk about else statement. What is if statement? If the condition is true, the statement is executed, but if the condition is false, if the condition is false, the program skipped and the next statement comes. So, and in else statement, if the condition is true, the body of if statement executes, but if the condition is not true, the body of else statements are executed. So and next topic is Boolean expression, and in Boolean expression we can talk about one is Boolean expression. Boolean expressions are greater than, less than, equals to. That basically that was called an comparison expression. Boolean expressions are comparison expressions. We can compare both of them. We can compare two values in Boolean expression. So in Boolean expression we can study about compound Boolean expressions. What is compound Boolean expressions? When we can use two Boolean expressions, when we combine two Boolean expressions with the help of logical operator, then it is called compound Boolean expressions. And what are logical operator? Logical operators are, there are three logical operators: and, not, or. And what is and? If the condition, if the one of them is true, then if the both of them, and in and operator, if the both of them are true, means if A or B are true, then the results are true. And in or operator, either even one side of both of them is true, then the results are true. And in not operator, not operator is just like an inverter. So if A is false, then inverter is true, and if A is true, then inverter is false. And no doubt that and is a higher precedence than or, so it executed first. Computer itself execute and operator first because of higher precedence. So Allah Hafiz everyone. So that was the end of my topic, my video. I hope you like it. I hope your concepts clear about the selection structures of Boolean expressions. So Khuda Hafiz.